Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with another episode of Reading the Script. It is myself, Austin Reed, aka Brandon Ross, and I'm here with none other than the COH Internet Champion, the Burial Machine, Scott Adams. How you doing, man?
Doing quite well.
All right, nice. Now, first of all, you are very well known for being a burial machine, but at the same time, you are also known as being quite a hater of YWF. Now, before you get mad at me for bringing this up, may I ask you, and this is a shoot page, this is a shoot interview, you can say whatever the fuck you want, and if people get butthurt, oh well. So, just shoot on the company, and like, just give me reasons why you're not a fan.
Well, the fact is, Austin Reed was the champion at one point, and that white piece of trash should never been champion. That's not my reason. Right. No, my reason is I want people were saying, hey, check out YWF. So I checked it out, and I must have been on the wrong episodes, or I don't know. I don't know what the pop was about it, but I just couldn't get into it. Um, the editing just felt like it
Too
felt
over
like
the top.
no, it didn't feel like there was any editing at all. It just felt like I was I just could have just gone to my obviously I'm not American, so I'm gonna have to think like an American. If I was in America, I would obviously go to my local Walmart. I would buy 2K15 because that's obviously the new game coming out. I would stick it in my PlayStation and I would literally just play every single game and just record it, right? And then when each match finishes, I will just cut off the end parts and just stick it in and say, "Hey, this is my show." Oh, just to add a little bit of entertainment, I added a bit of pyro at the beginning. That's how I felt the show was. There was no editing to it. There was no story felt to it. It just felt like match after match after match with just some guy doing commentary over it. Now, I did kind of sneakily peek a few months back, and they did improve on the editing. So obviously, whoever's listening to this is from a old episodes. This is not from their new episodes. I can't really watch it because it's always going to be mentally stuck in my head that poorly edited. Um, it just didn't feel right to me. Um,
So just the product in general and watching the show, you're just not a fan of.
no, I'm not a fan of, but I will give credit where it's needed because obviously I don't want to just completely just go, oh, why do we have absolute shit? You shouldn't watch it. You should watch it because they have the one best commentator ever, and that is. Do I even have to mention the name? I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. It's one of my favorite people to work with, and I can definitely agree that he is the best commentator in the history of calling, that is Kerry Perry. But
Yeah.
moving on, staying on the YWF topic, but I swear to God it won't be for long. I know there's someone that you are a fan of in YWF, and his name is Mocha Bane, also a burial machine. What are your thoughts on him, and what would happen if there was a Scott Adams Mocha Bane feud?
It would be sexual, baby.
Wow, you heard that, ladies and gentlemen? Sexual. Wow, strong words. Strong words from Scott Adam.
Well, right. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna go into this, right? I I'm gonna have to apologize, and I did came clean about this. I trolled YWF at one point, um, as a well, I wouldn't say trolled. I kind of like wanted to get into the core company, but I I didn't know how to do it, and I was getting told by too many people the way to get into YWF is you have to have a gimmick. You have to be somebody. You can't be a nobody going, "Hey, I want to join YWF." Okay, so what do you do? I don't do anything. Oh, right, okay. So I felt like I needed to create a character and try. So I did the YWF Superfan, and it kind of like I wanted to try and get some heat. I wanted to wind some people up, and I wound a few people up. But the one person I couldn't wind up was Mo Cobain, and I remember trying to call him sexual chocolate,
Oh, for the love of God.
and it didn't click on. He wouldn't. He just ignored it. He just, everything else. If I was burying somebody else, he would love it. He would like it. He'd click like. But when I was calling him sexual chocolate, he wouldn't. He just wouldn't budge. He wouldn't. He just ignored me. Just like, no. Now, what I say, it's sexual, baby, for our match. Now, when I was in SWA, obviously, is it SWA? Yeah, it's SWA. Steve's Fed. I was my character was basically the Godfather kind of thing. I come out with all my pimp. I'm dressed up as a pimp. Got my ladies coming out. Until that was on W13. Obviously, until 2K14 came out. Couldn't have that gimmick. I was like, oh, fine, bye. Change my gimmick to something else. But it would have been like that Scott Adams against Mo Cobain. Sexual chocolate.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
That,
Moving on. Oh, you got something else to say?
that's what my imagination would be if it was in a different core fed, obviously, with Kerry Perry as special guest referee. Just gotta add that in.
Wow. Very stacked match right there. Now, Scott, you had this gimmick in COH, and you had quite a passion for powerbombing people on the steel steps. Whose idea was it, and what happened to it?
Right. Okay. Whose idea was it? I feel guilty just for saying it was my idea.
Right.
I watched it. I watched a COH show. The first show it appeared in was Barney Green getting steel powerbombed on the steel steps, and I was like, I watched it and I thought, oh my God, that's epic. And I was straight on Facebook, Travis, that is my gimmick. I'm going to power bomb people on steel steps. At first, and then I was like, oh no, I wish they never said that now. It's one of those kind of gimmicks that I regret. And the reason why I regret it is because of every fucking troll what's out there. Oh yeah, he makes love to his steel steps. Fuck off. Just fuck off. I seriously, it's always, you can't have a gimmick in core without somebody just coming out and burying it. That's why I buried Levi for his ladder match stupid thing, because I just felt like I needed to push the heat off me a little.
Now, speaking of Levi, my good tag team partner, would you like to go in depth about the ladder match? Because this is my podcast, and you can say whatever the fuck you want. You are a burial machine, and if you'd like to bury my tag team partner on my show, then go ahead.
Right, well, this is when Levi was starting off core. Well, not starting off core. I mean, starting off his own core show. ICW. Am I right? I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's
yeah, ICW. I keep forgetting people's names. It's been a while. And I watched his show, and I was like, oh, and I just felt, oh no, you're falling into that. I'm new at this. I don't know how to edit. I felt guilty. I felt really bad because I knew how much Levi wanted to do his core show. And yeah. I knew how much he wanted it, passion he puts into it. And I'm speaking from my heart here. There is no other person that has put enough passion into their core show than Levi. Fedu's his core show was short-lived, but that was due to some personal issues, and that's between Levi to talk about, not me. But yeah, so I watched his show and I just thought, oh my God, you need to really edit your show. The arena, it just felt like, oh no, you really need to change that up. You needed to brand it. So I said to Levi, I'll help you with editing. So I asked him to send me a show over, and I said, I'll edit it this time. I'll make like some sort of tutorial showing you how to edit and all that. And I did all that. And I remember coming across that video. And
Oh god.
I had to watch the promo to know where it was going in the video, even though Levi told me where he wanted it. So I watched it and I was like, did he really just explain how to work a ladder match? And I was like, oh my god. I know he was being serious about it, and I should have took the piss out of him. But I was like, most people are wrestling fans, and I know you're trying to explain it for a non-wrestling fan person, but I think most people kind of get what a ladder match is. You know, unless you're that woman who was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and when they had the question, what's the WWE's pay-per-view TLC stand for, and she went for like, what is it, tender loving care and all that. I was like, no, it's fucking tables, chairs, and ladders. You know, unless you're that moron, right? I think everybody knew what a ladder match was, and
Right.
it was just the way Levi explained it in very much detail with a serious face. I was like, first time watched it, I pissed myself laughing.
Oh, that
And
is.
and the fact is, Levi kind of like give me like the says I can bury people with my gimmick, and I felt how better to like not bury somebody on the roster, but bury the boss. I was like, you know, this is like first time kind of thing that I've seen in a long while in Core. You know, a kind of Vince McMahon, Steve Austin kind of thing. You know, and Levi's messaging me on Facebook. You wanker. You know, and it was just like, how better than to make a storyline where, you know, I can bring Levi as a, you know, Mr. McIntyre, you could say, you know, character, you know, and it would have been epic. And
Right.
I kind of feel bad that, you know, that the show ended as it did, because that would have been epic, you know. And I
Yeah.
just thought how to start it off, and you know, Levi's response to it was epic. Uh, and yeah, so I started off, you know, I basically in my promo I says, "Are you really that stupid to the fact that you feel that we need to learn how to use a ladder match?" I mean, and then I remember doing it for I brought it up again because everybody kept on saying that was epic, that was funny. So I brought it up in the troll fed
TCF, I believe.
yeah, TCF, yeah. What Oh, Jay. Do you know, I'm forgetting people's names. It's because it's late at night for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Jay made it. So he says, right, okay, you're basically the berry machine, Scott Adams. Your first promo, I want you to bury everybody on the roster, so I did. And I just had to. And the thing is, I didn't even have to bury Levi with words. I just basically
Just
did
put
the
up his
ladder match.
video.
I just put up his video, and I looped it in certain spaces, and you know, to win a ladder match, you've got to climb the ladder. To win a ladder match, you climb the ladder.
I
To
could
win the
make a
match,
remix
yeah.
remix out of that. So Madden, a DJ, you gotta climb the ladder.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
for God's
and
sake!
yeah, it can't be as bad as what I did with you. Was it you're what was that from
Tyler Braxton.
Tyler Braxton? I have no friends. That was just epic. Yeah, I could just loop that for so long.
But moving on to the next topic. Um, Now knowing you, you do have quite the praise on one of the best up and coming stars in COD, and that is Ultimate Nitro. Can you give me your thoughts on him and what your praise is on Ultimate Nitro?
Underrated. He is so underrated. It's unbelievable. Um, I don't want to say too much because obviously there's still shows to come up on COH. I don't want to ruin storylines for other people, but um, I kind of I wanted this storyline between me and Ultimate Nitro to go a bit, you know, in more depth. Obviously, I've let it down a little bit, but that's due to personal reasons.
Mhm.
But yeah, Ultimate Nitro goes back since like 2009 with us, It's been a long time. Um, and I remember, I think he started off in like because obviously YTCW we had like a split brand, and I think he started off in one of my split brands, and we kind of talked a bit, but not as much as we do now. Um, but yeah, he was so underrated. He was booked very wrongly. He should have been a champion ages ago. Um, and YTCW just mucked him about.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with him in SWA, with the SWA YTCW merge. But COH, I've loved his storyline from when he started in COH. His build up, he is basically if you had to like put it into like WWE storylines kind of thing, he is like the Rey Mysterio. He's the ultimate underdog. He has got potential, and the fact that he's doing promos, and that's one of the things that we've never seen from Ultimate Nitro before. He never did a promo. He was, but he would watch the videos. He would leave a comment, and I mean, back then we was really young. I think he's 16 now or 17. So I mean, going back to like 2009, I was only 19, so he would have been like 14, 15. Well, no problem, younger. So, he was just a kid then. And, you know, it just, it blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
The fact that he stuck around for so long. I mean, there was a guy called Dylan. His YouTube name was Jeff Hardy 29 something, and those two started together, and then they was formed as a tag team. They actually the funny name of the tag team was the We Got Fire Club, is because and I nearly brought it up in one of my recent promos for COH. The reason why they was called the We Got Fire Club is they both got hired as a GM, and they both got fired because David didn't like, and that's the only authorized CCW, by the way. Cheap plug. When I say cheap plug, it's very cheap. Yeah, he basically fired them because they weren't putting out shows when he wanted them to, and then he formed them as a tag team as the We Got Fired Club, and yeah, it was kind of creative.
Yeah.
I guess the reason why I didn't bring it up in COH is because I got fired more times than anybody else and screwed over so many times than YCCW. But yeah, Ultimate Nitro. I was when I first watched his first promo, I was like, okay, fair dues for a good first promo. It wasn't too bad, and he's just improved and improved, and I'm looking for what's next.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I'm a big fan of Ultimate Nitro myself, and I really think his future is very bright in CAW. But moving on, the 7 Deadly Sins, the Accurate Enterprise, and the Egotistical Bastards. Now, can you give me your thoughts on the Bastards and just what's it like having them with the Accurate Enterprise? Like, how is the connection?
Who?
The egotistical bastards.
That was the joke.
I just didn't think you'd bury your own teammates.
Who's Fisk?
Never heard of him.
No. No, seriously. It's kind of cool. It's nice that we're making a big faction. Don't mistake it for OBN.
No, it's far better.
Too many people. No, it's the fact that we're not even going for the OBN storyline.
Yeah.
OBN storyline was NWO. This is not NWO. We're not taking over. We're not going to go, all right, okay, so we're taking over the company, and this is now NWO battleground kind of thing. This is the OBN battleground. We're not doing that. Unless they are doing that and they haven't told me, because they don't tell me shit. I'm not like the last to know guy. You know, it's like, are we missing somebody? Yeah, we're missing Scott. Oh, he's asleep. Oh, it's all right. Do you know what? When they did the whole commentary thing, um, I can't remember how many times they woke me up. I was like, it was this time of night. Obviously, normally I would be asleep, but special occasion doing this podcast for you, you know, and
Awesome.
I just woke up and I was like, who the fuck's messaging me on Facebook? And it's them saying, you know, when are we going to get this promo done? When are we going to get this done? And I was like, oh, for God's sake. And obviously, this is the battleground takeover. You noticed that I didn't do any commentary. That was mainly because obviously time zones are different.
Yeah.
I couldn't get scheduled in and all that, and I just said I think it's best that I just not do anything for this and all that. And it worked out because I was first match, so obviously, you know, it kind of worked out.
Hmm.
And I was fine with that. I mean, I was a bit disappointed at first. I wanted to do a bit of commentary, you know. So it's nice to do something different for once. But I wasn't too mad. I wasn't mad about it. And I wasn't too bothered about it. But yeah, I kind of like the Bastards and the Acre Enterprise merged together. Not keen on the Seven Deadly Sins name. I just, when I first got told about that, I was like, And when it was, because at first they was giving all like the bloody, what was it, the seven deadly sins and all that, and everybody had to have one of the sins, you know. And I think I got told I was something. I can't remember what I got told, and I didn't like it. I was like, no, I'm not having one of the deadly sins named after me. I was like, no.
Right.
Um.
Oh, keep going.
So I don't know if that was still part of the thing or not, but you know, I think they kind of dropped like the seven. I think we all have the seven deadly sins inside of us, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's not like you're all just one of them.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Now this is a little bit off topic, but I definitely think that you have made your voice heard, but not to a more public standpoint. The original Slam Radio, the talk show, there's no doubt in my mind that it flopped, and you clearly have spoken about it before. Could you give your thoughts on why it could have flopped and what could have improved?
Oh, that is a good question. Especially the fact that I've done radio in the past. I used to work for a community radio station doing radio. I mean, yeah, I guess the fact that um, slam radio, it could have sounded more like a radio.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to go into too much about it. I will cover all of it, what you need to know. I don't want to obviously upset David.
Yeah.
I get on with David. I'm not going to slander him. But yeah, I remember listening to one of them, and the intro, it just went on for too long.
Right.
It was just like you started the podcast, but your intro still carry on. Your music is now burying your actual talking. It's like, you know, it's like I know you want to end the guitar riff, but you could have cropped that down. You know, I was expecting like a bow, 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 wow, wow, wow. Welcome to Slam Radio, and I'm your guest. You know, kind of like I was expecting like something like that. I wasn't expecting like a wow, 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 wow. Yeah, you're listening to going wow, wow, wow. I can't even hear you because your fucking music's playing.
Right.
You know, if you was going to have something like that, you needed a proper bed. Bed is a radio term for background music.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you wanted something, if you wanted like some sort of background music, you have it on a really low. Obviously, you have to do that pre-edited after, but you want to have the voice needs to be heard. If the voice can't be heard, then you might as well not bother.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that he needed to know storylines. He needed to know them pre-advanced. Even if he just watched the last episode, you know, just cover the bases on the last episode. I know it's a busy schedule for him, and obviously you can't watch every show. So far, I've only seen the podcast work for COH. I don't know if he was doing it for YWF. Didn't watch, didn't look. Um, the idea, the concept behind it was good. I remember him saying that he wanted people to do it, but obviously, with me, I felt like I couldn't do it personally. If I had to have two options. I either did the radio or I have Scott Adams,
Mm.
because one of the things that I've always said to people, and I said this to Sonny, if you're gonna do something like have two characters, they need to have different voices to distinguish who is who. Like with Sonny, with Lester Barkley, and then you got I forgot his commentary name.
I actually forgot too, but everyone knows who we're talking about.
You know, he does commentary for Slam. You know, that is really bugging me now. I don't even know what his name is, but it doesn't matter, right? I said because they both sound exactly the same, and when he was doing an interview with himself, it just felt like he was talking to himself, and you know, it didn't. It obviously he was talking to himself, but I didn't want it to sound like he was
Yeah,
talking.
it should have come across like it was two different people.
And I said to him, right, your commentary, um, voice needs to be you. Reason why it needs to be you is because you don't want to strain your voice. And I remember going. This is going back to SWA when Steve was doing commentary. He had like multiple characters, and he was doing voices for those multiple characters. And I remember him telling me he strained his voice once because he did a full show doing one character, not his own voice, and you know, and he said he it hurt his voice trying to do that character for the whole show, and he glad that he only did it once, and he would never do it again. But this is the thing with Sonny. I felt like he needed to, with his Lester Barkley character, he needed to make him sound darker. He needed to, you know, he needed to put a deep voice on him. You know, I'm Lester Barkley and I'm gonna fucking kill you, kind of thing. You know, obviously talk like that, but you know, because at least then it only works on short promos. You know, short promos you can put on that voice because it's not going to strain your voice as much compared to you doing a full show with your commentator and you're going to do like a commentary voice and you're just going to strain your voice every show you do.
Right. Moving on to the next topic, still involving Slam. As everyone knows, there's going to be a brand split in COH. Slam is, you know, obviously is no longer going to be developmental. It's going to be like a B show. So, Scott, what are your thoughts on the brand split, and who do you think is going to benefit the most from this whole brand split?
Everybody's going to benefit from it. It's one of those things where I feel like Travis should have done this ages ago, but at the same time, I'm glad that he did it now rather than because Slam was a trial run and it worked. Not everybody can have like two brands. Some people can, some people can't. It all depends on how people are being booked, how many people want to join your Fed. I mean, if you've got shitloads of people in your Fed, you know, and you got to mix and match. You got to go.
You can't just cram them all into one show.
No, you can't cram it all into one show. But at the same time, you can't go, oh, I've got like 60 people on one show. I need to split them in half. Okay, 30-30. And then you realise you've made your A show really good, but you made your B show really bad. And then at the same time, you kind of like, okay, so I'm going to take some people from the A show, put them on the B show. And then you've made the A show look really bad because you just took half the feuds away. So it's kind of like you got to have an even balance. You can't just like go, for example, let's say Caleb, he went over to the B show. You know, it wouldn't make any sense because he's feuding with somebody on the A show, and you just ended the feud because you want to put him on the B show, or it's one of those things. I'm looking forward to seeing how it works, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing new champions. I'm looking forward to seeing new feuds. I'm looking forward to seeing like people are being stuck in low card hell. This is not even mid card hell. This is low card hell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing them being pushed up to mid card and mid card being pushed up to high card, and people who are already in the high card getting pushed into like the, hey, you're the top star in the top.
Caleb Blair.
Gringo. I feel like I'm paying family food here, right? Okay, so Caleb Blair, and then our survey says,
So before this podcast ends, is there anyone that you'd like to add on about?
Oh, all those, you go on about that, you say about me burying people, and what do I think about these names and all that? I just had to bring up Caleb. That was why Gringo. Oh, I feel bad. I feel like bad because I'm bringing this all now. It's like it's going into like it's money in the bank kind of thing. It's like how to bury. If I had to have a feud with him, how to bury him, I would basically say to him, the only reason why you're still in COH is because you're the Money in the Bank champion, and I know you're holding on to that Money in the Bank briefcase like it's a fucking green card.
Oh no! But fuck it. There's racism and controversy on reading the script. Fuck it. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Reading the Script. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Austin Reed, aka Brandon Ross, here with the COH Internet Champion Scott Adams. Thank you for joining me tonight. That is gonna do it. So peace out, guys. See you next episode.
Yeah. Tune into the next episode of Reading the Script. That's spelled REED, not READ, because he's dyslexic, obviously. So yeah, tune in or don't.
All right, Levi, you can come back.